Armed Services that we are so grateful for. And we'd like you to join us in our first sing-along song. So you have to stand on up and join Karen and Rick here with Holy, Holy Way.
Welcome everyone to the Center for Spiritual Healing, Capistrano Valley. My name is Reverend Art Patton. I'm a staff minister here, and whatever you are doing, you are welcome here. Whatever you thought about yesterday, you're welcome here. Whatever you did yesterday, you're welcome here. It doesn't matter what you've done before, because here, we love you.
Yeah, we love you.
And Dr. Heather said, did you get the memo this morning? I said, yeah, of course I did. So if you're wearing blue, you got the memo. Or green, you got the memo. If you're wearing red, you got the other memo. If you're wearing black, you got that other memo. So we're all connected. All right, so let's start this clam bake. And of the flames of faith, call to service. I'll be serious for a second. I'm sorry, I'm just enjoying myself. Life is good. We perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples, all faiths, all sentient beings come from one great universal presence, which we call spirit. Fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we will honor here today. We light the candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and the practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the candle for the Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as a path of love. We light the candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of compliance with the will of God as the highest calling. We light the candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the candle for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. And as Reverend Carla lights the last candle, let that represent the path that brought you here today. And if you wouldn't mind joining me in a prayer and meditation, centering, a way of quieting down that mind, and just being open to a different voice, allowing God to speak to you this morning. And just know with me right here and right now that there's one universal consciousness, and we call that God. And it is through that consciousness that our spirits are uplifted. We are connected to that one. We are part of that one. And today I know that we are so ready to receive, to let love into our hearts. We are so ready for prosperity. We are so ready for giving. We are so ready for receiving. We are so ready to make a difference in this world through our consciousness. It is through our efforts that the world changes. It is through our consciousness that the world is made new. It is through our efforts that things get done with God's help. So this morning I release all these wonderful words to the universe because I know that anything and everything is possible with God. As I release this now, together we say, and so it is. And so it is. This mic is just weird this morning. And it's me. It's me. Okay, it's me. And now I'm looking for our wonderful practitioner, Nina Baraldi, to do the next part.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone.
Morning. Morning.
I'm going to read the Declaration of Principles, and I want you to join me. I believe in God, the one creative intelligence, operating through the universe, and operating throughout my entire being, now and always. I believe this perfect spirit operates upon a law of mind and creates my experience exactly according to my belief. I believe the perfect creative intelligence can be used by me and by every other person to produce health, abundance, and love in mind, body, and total experience. I use it now, and I rejoice in it, and so it is. And now let's all join in the affirmation. I am life. Life is strong. Life knows how to heal itself. I know how to heal myself. And so it is.
All right.
Thank you, and please welcome our soloists today, Karen Allen and Rick Dale.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So the topic of the month is revealing wholeness. So how do we reveal wholeness? Well, one way is to listen to Spirit.
Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. And that is the way, that is the only way we reveal the spiritual truth is through revealing spirit. So you have it, you nailed it. I love it when the song takes the place of my message, and then I can talk about anything I want to. So today is Canada's birthday also. So July 1st in Canada is 151 years old. And what a bad Canadian I am is last year I was there several times and I didn't even realize it was our 150th birthday last year. Big birthday last year, this year not so much. It's just 151. So I want to start with a story. And this story you've heard me tell before. It's two ships communicating. The Americans say, please divert your course 15 degrees to the north to avoid a collision. The Canadians respond, recommend you divert your course 15 degrees to the south to avoid a collision. Americans, this is the captain of a U.S. Navy ship. I say again, divert your course. Canadians, no, I say again, you divert your course. Americans, this is the aircraft carrier USS Abraham Lincoln, the second largest ship in the United States Atlantic Fleet. We're accompanied by 3 destroyers, 3 cruisers, and numerous support vessels. I demand that you change your course 15 degrees north. That's 15 degrees north, or countermeasures will be undertaken to ensure the safety of the ship. Canadians reply, this is a lighthouse. Your call. It's always good to laugh. It's good. Yes, it's a great week, a wonderful week of celebration. And I wrote my blog about how important this celebration, not today, but the Wednesday celebration, the 4th of July, is to me. And how when asked why I was becoming a citizen now, my response was, because I want to vote. And that is my first response.
Yay!
But when I thought about it, it really wasn't just that. The real reason I want to become an American citizen is to say thank you for the wonderful welcome, for the wonderful people that I've met here, for the principles that I have seen here, for the values here, for the United States, for what it stands for. And, I was surprised in the Science of Mind magazine that because there's always something about freedom in the July issue, and there is the beautiful article, but it's featuring the Gettysburg Address, not the Declaration of Independence or the wonderful words that Jefferson penned. I hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, written at a time when he was a true visionary because men weren't equal. Women weren't even people. Written at a time, so that's a visionary statement, something that pulls us forward into truth. In this essay that today's talk is based on is only 3/4 of the page long. You think I would be quiet already. Because it's so short, but it is packed full of meaning. What he's saying is that every healing is a revelation. And a revelation is a glimpse of the divine. It's seeing God. So when you see God, something has been revealed. The spiritual truth has been revealed. And a healing must occur. A healing must occur. And then Ernest says, it doesn't matter what method you take, what method you use to get there, to have that experience of seeing, feeling, knowing the divine. It doesn't matter in the least. And he says it doesn't matter if you use logic or argument or realization or whatever method you use. And it's true, it doesn't matter. There are those of you who are sitting here today that can attest, as I can, that when you needed God's help and simply said, help me, I don't know what to do, something occurred. For me, it was something about health. It was about quitting smoking. And this was a long time ago. I was 31 years old, 32 years old, and I was smoking very heavily, and I knew I needed to quit. How did I know I needed to quit? I was at a dance, dancing my favorite dance, a polka. So I was dancing a polka, and the guy I was dancing with was a Russian immigrant, and he was able to get down, do the kicks and all of that stuff, and still keep up with do the whole polka as well. And you know how dances are in sets of threes, and at least in the country dances, we were always in sets of threes. So we got one dance that I was exhausted. I had to sit down, I had to catch my breath. And I thought, this is not good. I'm probably going to live at least another 30 years. Well, I've lived a lot longer than that already. I'm going to live a lot longer. What is my life going to be like if I can't breathe? And so I made the decision for my health that I would quit smoking. And I actually was guided by that presence of God to quit smoking. And so I did the logical thing. Remember, Ernest said, whatever method it takes, whatever method is the right method for you. So I had quit several years before by use of hypnosis. So I went to a hypnotist, and there's some of you sitting here that use hypnosis in your practices. It's a wonderful technique. But I went to that hypnotist, and he was skilled. I was definitely not willing at a very deep level. And so I came out of the hypnotist's office, and got in my car and lit up a cigarette. And then I was so mad at God. What? I was so mad at God because God wasn't doing his part, because that's where my God was in those days, wasn't doing his part to let me down. I was doing my part. I went, I did the thing that I was supposed to do, and God should have done his part and helped me stop smoking. So I had a big discussion with God that night, a real big discussion, like Edwin Gage called big fella, big sweetie. Well, I was really cross. I said, I can't do my part if you don't do yours. And I wrote and wrote and wrote and wrote, and ended up that piece of writing ended with 3 times and said, me, I was the writer, trust God, trust God, trust God. And then there was nothing else. You know, when you know you're done, that was the end of what I could write. Trust God, trust God, trust God. And I woke up the next morning and I felt God's presence. I didn't hear it. I didn't feel it in I felt it from 8 inches above my head to the very tips of my toes. I was complete. I had no need for anything outside myself. Because God's presence was sufficient, was enough, was more than enough. And that feeling, and then I went to school. I was a teacher at the time, teaching junior high school, mostly language arts. I had a wonderful day. It stayed with me all day. I had a wonderful day the next day. It stayed with me the next day. And for 7 days, I was in that bliss. Completely sufficient. And because I was sufficient, there was nothing within me that said, okay, you would be more complete if you had a cigarette. And I know those of you who have never smoked don't understand that. Don't understand it. But that is how it felt to me at the time, that without smoking, it was like my constant companion. It was the way I breathed. So in order to get breath, light up a cigarette. Again, doesn't make rational sense, but it was my experience. So the presence of God was my my way of quitting. When someone comes to me and says, I want to quit smoking, I can't give you a method. I can do the next best thing. I can do spiritual mind treatment for you, which is our affirmative prayer. So what I just described, Ernest would call the realization method. It's simply allowing God to be God in you. And for me, it was making it welcome, but I didn't consciously choose it to happen that way. As I told you, I was mad at God. I'm like, stay out of my life. But of course, God loves us so much that that wasn't possible. And I figured, okay, if I'm supposed to quit smoking, I must have this great, big, important message to give. Like, get everybody to stop smoking. That must be it. And I got the message. No. This is all about you. Forget about the other people. They will quit if they need to or won't quit if they don't need to. Just look after yourself. I didn't like that message. I thought, oh, some important reason. Well, that was in September. December of that year, my husband, who was a practicing alcoholic, and I went on, he practiced well. He knew what he was doing. So we had planned to go skiing. We were going to drive down from Edmonton to Colorado, and then we were going to ski, and then we were going to go over, down, whichever direction it is, from Colorado to Mesa, Arizona, where my parents wintered. And so we stopped at Arizona first, and my mom put me to bed. He put me in the back of the car. I was really, really, really sick. I had 105-degree fever. So those of you who think, oh, she's not in her right mind, it isn't that. It isn't that. But what I realized as I was delirious, and what I realized was, if I'd still been smoking and had jeopardized those lungs, I wouldn't have made it. I needed to give my body this much of a respite in order to survive this flu. And that thing itself that is in us, that I call God, you can call it whatever you like, spirit, divine mind, it's all-knowing, and it's not confined to time or space. So it knows that it knows everything, and something in me knew that that was the time that I needed to leave those cigarettes behind forever, and I did. But it was God that did it for me, through me. Top of the head to the bottom of the feet, complete. One of the affirmations that we're very fond of saying is, I am whole, complete, and perfect. Let's say that together. I am whole, complete, and perfect. And it's the truth. You are and I am, because we're made in the image and likeness of the One. And because the One is expressing as us, and it has to be perfect. God has to be perfect, or it wouldn't be God. And its expressions have to be perfect, at least at the level of truth. Do we ever mess up that perfection? Constantly. Constantly, most of us do. We forget who we are. We have spiritual amnesia, and so having forgotten who we are, we make agreements about lack, about limitation, about sickness, about disease. And we do not need to agree to those beliefs. But in case, you can't just go to bed one night and have God flow through you the next morning. In case you're living your life sort of in a normal way and not like an arguer with God, like I was doing, there's another way. And that is spiritual mind treatment. It's our most powerful tool our most powerful tool, affirmative prayer, Reverend Arpad started with that affirmative prayer, set the consciousness for us. So, and those of you who have taken the Prosperity Plus 2 course can help me out if I get some of the details wrong. But I want to tell you Mary Morrissey's healing story that happened before she was a minister. It's the thing that guided her into ministry. Mary was 19 years old. She had had her first baby, and she was diagnosed with fatal kidney disease. She was in a hospital. They were going to remove one kidney and maybe do something with the other one. Maybe it would need to be removed, which in those days would have meant death because there was no dialysis. It was that long ago. And so someone came to pray with her. Someone, was traveling in the hospital, and there are people here that travel in the hospital and pray for people who want prayer. And they simply said, would you like prayer? And she said, yes, anything. And the woman had a discussion with Mary, asked her about her life, and she was suffering from terrible shame and guilt. She felt she'd let her family down, her school down, let everybody down by getting pregnant while she was still in school and having to go to another kind of school so that she'd be acceptable. Shame and guilt that she couldn't cope with. And so the woman said to her, do you see how your thoughts have been toxic and could be poisoning your body? And she said, well, maybe. Do you believe that all of that poison could be collected together in one of your kidneys instead of in both of them? And when they remove that kidney, all the toxins would be gone. And Mary said, she said, I didn't believe it, but I knew that she believed it. I didn't believe it, but I knew she believed it. And that was enough. So the woman did prayer for her, and something happened. Mary said she slept that night for the first time in weeks, that there in the hospital when she'd been nervous about the surgery, she actually had a good night's sleep. All of this is connected. It's all connected to prayer. So she had a good night's sleep, got wheeled into the operation. The doctors removed the kidney, and they said, the other kidney didn't look as bad as we thought it looked. And so, well, the end of the story. She's still alive today and doing well, vital, strong, whole, and complete. The answer for her, the realization of God for her, was through prayer. And not even her own prayer, someone else praying for her. She had to be willing that could heal her. I know that there are people that have been diagnosed with things, there are people that are suffering from something physical, something emotional. This is the day to give it all up to God. Let God be that wholeness in you. Reveal to you the wonder that it is. This is the day. Stop by and have a mini session with one of the practitioners, or call one of us. Make an appointment. Come in and see us, or go make an appointment wherever they're going to be seeing you. You will be so grateful that you did. So wholeness often refers to health, well-being, vitality, and energy, aliveness. But wholeness means the completeness of anything. Being whole, complete, and perfect means that not only am I physically whole, complete, and perfect, physically healthy, but I'm emotionally healthy. I am spiritually mature. And being spiritually mature means I take responsibility for my life, for my thoughts, for my feelings. It means that I don't bypass them, I deal with them. I deal with them. And in that dealing, something marvelous happens. What I'm looking at are these beautiful beings about to celebrate this wondrous, wondrous holiday, the best holiday of the year. And some of us have forgotten who we are. We've forgotten why we came here. We've forgotten we're here to make a difference. We've forgotten that our lives matter, our thoughts matter, and our prayers matter. Every time you say something positive, every time you see through the condition to the truth, you're making a difference. Every time you say, no, I don't agree with that, or even think it, and hold firmly to the truth of being, you're making a difference. You are the ones to do it, and I am the one to do it. It makes such a difference to know who we are and to be that. And to be that. So often we forget who we are, and we go around acting like goats or sheep or something. There's another story that I reread recently about some hunters that were up in northern Canada, and they had hired a pontoon plane, and the pontoon plane brought them in, and they land on the lake because it's all lakes and forests, and then they went hunting and they got 3 moose. And so they came back, got everything loaded, all their gear loaded onto the plane, and got the first moose loaded onto the pontoons. And the pilot said, we're ready to go, we're ready to go. No, we've got more. He said, more? I don't know if we can carry more. They loaded another moose, and yet another moose, 3 moose on the plane. Moose are really huge, really big. Anyway, the pilot was pretty certain that was too heavy, but he got going, went all the way around the lake, and got the plane going fast enough that it could actually lift off, and then got into the tops of the trees and crashed. And then Art comes out and goes, Bill, are you okay? Bill, are you okay? Bill, yes, Art, I'm okay. Are you okay? Yes, I'm okay. I guess we lost the moose again. Well, we went 50 yards further than last year. And my point is, even if we're just making a little progress, it's progress. Even if we're just going 50 yards further, the poor pilot's plane, I mean, there might be consequences that we are responsible for. But even if we get a little bit closer to that good that we know is ours, who we are, what we are, it's worth it. It's worth it. On Wednesday, practitioner Aidan Greeny gave a wonderful message about I am. And
There's a poem about I Am. James Dillett Freeman, poet laureate of the Unity movement, wrote. It's called I Am There. I'd like to share it with you to conclude, because I know that the two examples I gave you might seem insufficient. All sorts of other tools you could use. You can visualize what you want. You can do a treasure map for what you want. You can affirm what you want. Because God being everywhere present, no matter where you are, God is there. So this is what I'd like to share with you. Do you need me? I am there. You cannot see me, yet I am the light you see by. You cannot hear me, yet I speak through your voice. You cannot feel me, yet I am the power at work in your hands. I am at work, though you do not understand my ways. I am at work, though you do not recognize my works. I am not strange visions. I am not mysteries. Only in absolute stillness beyond self can you know me as I am, and then but as a feeling and a faith. Yet I am there. Yet I hear. Yet I answer. When you need me, I am there. Even if you deny me, I am there. Even when you feel most alone, I am there. Even in your fears, I am there. Even in your pain, I am there. I am there when you pray and when you do not pray. I am in you and you are in me. Only in your mind can you feel separate from me, for only in your mind are the mists of yours and mine. Yet only with your mind can you know me and experience me. Empty your heart of empty fears. When you get yourself out of the way, I am there. You can of yourself do nothing, but I can do all, for I am in all. Though you may not see the good, good is there, for I am there. I'm there because I have to be, because I am. Only in me does the world have meaning. Only out of me does the world take form. Only because of me does the world go forward. I'm the law on which the movement of the stars and the growth of living cells are founded. I am the love. As the law is fulfilling, I am assurance. I am peace. I am oneness. I am the law that you can live by. I am the love you can cling to. I am your assurance. I am your peace. I am one with you. I am. Though you fail to find me, I do not fail you. Though your faith in me is unsure, my faith in you never wavers, because I know you, because I love you. Beloved, I am there. That's the I am that I am, that you are, and so it is. And now we'll take that and anchor it in prayer. In this holy moment of right now, I know that there is only one power, one life, one mind. That is the mind of God. That mind is all-knowing, all-power. It is eternal and unconditioned and unconditional love. It is in every crevice of the universe. It is. It is that which is forever creating out of itself. It is first cause to everything visible and invisible. Its magnificence and immensity is breathtaking, and its immanence is certain. Here is what I know. I know that this one that is everywhere, that is this thing itself, is right where I am. I am one with it, as each one here is. And from that first person, I'm speaking my word for each one here. This is what I know. I know for certain that divine mind in me is my life, is my health, is the truth of my physical being. That God's presence in my body temple is moving as love through every cell, every tissue, every function, every fiber, every organ. Everything is being renewed and revitalized by that one power, by that power of life itself. It's being washed clean into the perfect pattern of life in which it was made, with which it was made. And it is filling me with energy and aliveness and vitality, with joy and confidence, with the awareness that what I want wants me. And whether I want physical well-being or whether I want meaningful relationships, it's all the same to that one that does all. So I speak this word for love and connection and belonging in every aspect of my life. That I'm a magnet for friends and friendships, and love pours from me and pours back to me from those other beings. I do not forget my four-legged friends. I know all beings are sharing their love with one another, and I'm so grateful for this. I know that the wholeness that I am includes my financial prosperity and well-being, that I live in an abundant universe. Not only is there sufficient for all, but there's an abundance for all. That good is everywhere. And that good is circulating in my life. I'm willing to release the good for the better, and moving always to a better and better experience of being. I am very grateful. I know that also this is a time of abundant creativity, that creative mind in me is open and receptive to new ideas, to ideas of joy and to ideas of expression. And whether my creativity, whether I'm compensated for my creativity financially or not, that creative expression is very important. And so I do it with love, and I give with love, and I love to give. Open and receptive to ideas, and those ideas bless every area of my life. I'm so grateful for knowing what I know. I'm so grateful for that ever-expanding good and well-being that is my life. I'm so blessed. I'm so grateful for all the blessings. And so with my heart filled with gratitude, I simply place this in the law of God. God has it now, and please help me anchor it by saying with me, and so it is. Now, Ellendale.
Well, because America's birthday is coming up, we thought we'd do this Simon and Garfunkel song about the longing of the human spirit. And I'll just let the song speak for itself. Let us be lovers, we'll marry our fortunes together. I've got some real estate here in my hand. Ooh, so we bought a pack of cigarettes, Mrs. Wagner pies, came to me now. It took me 4 days to hitchhike from Saginaw. I've come to look for America. Laughing on the bus, playing games with the faces. She said the man in the gabardine suit was a spy. I said, be careful, his bow tie is really a camera. Toss me a cigarette, I think there's one in my raincoat. Smoked the last one an hour ago. Ooh, so I looked at the scenery. She read her magazine, and the moon rose over an open field. Kathy, I'm lost, I said, for I knew she was sleeping. I'm empty and aching, and I don't know why. Counting the cars on the New Jersey Turnpike, they've all come to look for America. All come to look for America. All come to look for America.
Thank you.
Oh, then that's getting a double treat. So it's time for us to share our gifts, our tithes, our offerings. If the stewards would come forward, please. And as soon as it's up so I can read it, we're going to, because now there's nothing over there, it's just there. We're going to read our prosperity affirmation, and then we're going to take a few seconds in silence just to be grateful. Grateful for all that we've received, all that we have to give, and all that we give. And then we'll follow that up by blessed always, and then another treat. So, please join me. My offering is my acceptance of God as the source of my supply, and symbolizes my faith in the abundant flow of this supply.
Let our joy be so beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty. Above the fruited plain, America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for patriotry that sees beyond the years. Thine alabaster cities gleam, undimmed by human tears. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, sea to shining sea. Join me one more time on the first verse. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties, above the fruited plain, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining That was just beautiful to me. Thank you. I feel like I've been lifted to another plane. And that was a spiritual practice. So another spiritual practice is being in service. If you've been in service today or this week, would you please stand so we can give you a lot of love? Thank you for all that you give, all that you do, all that you do. And then if the practitioners would remain standing, the practitioners are trained in the art and science of affirmative prayer. I spoke about that in my message. So if you want your life transformed, healed, revealed, make an appointment with one of these fine people. If you want to get a taste of it on Sundays, stop by the prayer practitioner tables at the back or in the Tranquility Room. And the people who are in service today are Anita Baroldi, Reverend Carlos Gerardis, Donna Wallace, and Hans Smith. And I'd like to especially welcome those of you who are here for the very first time. And if you're really brave, maybe you'd stand up.
Maybe you could pop up, or maybe you could at least raise your hand. Oh, good, see, I met lots of you. Good for you, good for you, good for you. You're going to keep standing, we're going to receive a gift, and we're going to affirm you. So just be willing, be open to hear the truth about yourself. We're all going to say it together. Welcome to our center. Welcome to our center. You are someone who makes a difference.
You are someone who makes a difference.
We see the spiritual truth of you.
We see the spiritual truth of you.
Spiritually, you are prosperous.
Spiritually, you are prosperous.
Spiritually, you are healthy.
Spiritually, you are healthy.
Spiritually, you're abundant.
Spiritually, you are
And
abundant.
spiritually, you are creative.
And spiritually, you are creative.
You are blessing us by being here.
You are blessing us by being here.
Welcome home.
Welcome home.
And so, in those green bags, there's a welcome card, and fill it out and take it into the bookstore, and you will receive another little gift. It's a book. So let's acknowledge our visitors again. Thank you so much for being here. Fantastic. Something else? So July, it's the 1st of July, which means that this is when we acknowledge God's greatest ideas. If you have a birthday in July, please stand so we can celebrate you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. And what we received is a Science of Mind magazine, which is filled with wonderful articles and daily guides. So look at the guide for your birthday and you'll be so happy because it'll speak exactly to you. And now, do we have some announcements?
We do.
A couple. Join Conscious Connection today, right here at noon, for a small group discussion about the ideas you heard in the service today. Mary Brogdon is facilitating, and childcare is provided.
And this week there will be no Wednesday's Wisdom because of the holidays. So please have a happy and safe 4th of July.
Don't blow your hand off. Today, the new visioning class begins. It's from 12:30 to 2:30 and is facilitated by practitioner Aidan Greeny. The cost of $160 for credit or love offering for no credit. There's a sign-up sheet on the kiosk.
And Dr. Heather's class, Nature of Effective Prayer, meets on Tuesday nights from 6:30 to 9 p.m. The cost is also $160 for credit or love offering for no credit. And all students are welcome.
But not this Tuesday.
But not this Tuesday, so next Tuesday.
Mary Brogdon again. On Thursday evenings, Mary Brogdon is leading a book study based on Neil Donald Walsh's book, Home with God. It meets from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. for the next 9 weeks and is presented on a love offering basis. There's a sign-up sheet on the kiosk.
And this week, the Women's Circle is meeting on Friday, July 6th at 6 p.m. with guest speaker Emma Wagner, Doctor of Chiropractic. Please see Joyce Fournier if you have any questions.
And friendship circles are about to commence. If you haven't joined a circle yet, there's still time. This is your opportunity to bond with members of your spiritual community in the comfort of someone's home. There are several different days and times available, maybe one that fits your schedule and location. Sign-up sheets are on the table in the back of the sanctuary.
And there is always so much going on here, so please take the inserts in your program, take them home, read them over, and see what works with your life. So I think it's time for the kids.
Yes, bring the children in.